As one generation builds upon the other, we are wiser for their words. We are stronger for their courage. We are lifted by their vision for a better tomorrow. Today's lesson is inspired by a scripture from Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 9, and it reads, "Keep watch and be careful never to forget what you yourself have seen and have learned. Do not let these memories escape from your mind as long as you live, and be sure to pass them on to your children and your children's children." And so it is written. In a few days, we will celebrate Memorial Day, a day of remembrance, a day to look back with respect and move forward with purpose. Memorial Day was originally called Decoration Day. It began after the Civil War. It was a day set aside to remember those in uniform who made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation, and was first observed May 30th, 1868, a day of awareness and reverence, when flowers were placed on the graves of Union and Confederate soldiers at Arlington National Cemetery. Memorial Day became a 3-day weekend with the National Holiday Act of 1971. For many, it marked the beginning of summer, with trips to the beach, backyard barbecues, family and friends together to enjoy the warm, beautiful days of spring. But for many of us, it was a day to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice to fight and die for this country. I am an honorably retired, decorated veteran of the U.S. Air Force, 2 tours overseas, Greece and Turkey, and spent more than 10 years working in the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. I was one who fought for this country. Now I am one who meditates for world peace. Together, let us visualize a world where we don't have to put our young people in harm's way. Let us all share our love and light with the collective consciousness that we may study war no more. May the time come when there is no desire to fight and kill our neighbors, a time of peace when there is no need for the military. When the warlords have put down their weapons, when world leaders everywhere have put aside their feelings of hate and distrust and greed and come into the understanding that every man, woman, and child on this plane of existence is the expression of the one source we call God. I salute all service members for their service, dedication, and sacrifice to this country. As metaphysicians, we take this day to a whole new level, not just a time to remember our military brothers and sisters, but also to remember those heroes and she-roes in our own family, those wonderful souls we have known and loved, those special people who inspired us, supported us, encouraged us, those that made us feel that we could accomplish anything we set our mind on. Sometimes it was a school teacher or a neighbor that may have made a meaningful difference in our lives, or maybe someone who came into our lives for a very short time but left a lasting impression. You know, some of us are fortunate enough to have friends that feel like family, a kindred soul, a familiar energy. You've probably crossed paths with someone you've known from a previous life. What a blessing it is when this happens. Let us have gratitude in our hearts for all those that paved the way before us, each leaving an imprint, an example, a lesson we should never forget. And because of their perseverance, sacrifices, and willingness to share, our lives have been enriched. Just as we build upon the examples and achievements of those who came before us, others may someday build upon our life's example. Those we love become a part of us. Neither time nor space can separate us. Remembering family and friends is the truest form of love one can give, for a memory never dies, and love lives on from one lifetime into the next. After we have transitioned from this physical plane of existence, the hope is that we have left this world in better condition than when we first begun. The way to a truly peaceful life can be found in the golden rule. Treat people the way you would like to be treated. Be tender with the young, compassionate with the aged, sympathetic with the striving, and tolerant of the weak. because at some point in your own development, you have been all these things. I hope that each one of you have or had a person in your life you considered a hero or she-roe. For me, it was my Aunt Sarah Lee. She helped to deliver me into the world. She was the first to see this angelic face. Not only did she adopt and raise her sister's children, but she treated all of her nieces and nephews like they were her own. She was an inspiration. She was there to inspire and encourage us. She would even buy school clothes for us every year. When I was stationed overseas, she would write to me at least once a month. Her letters helped me to stay stronger and remember that I came from good stock. Her letters were very visual. As I read them, they painted a picture in my mind. She always closed by saying, "God be with you until we meet again." And as long as she was on the earth, I knew that there was someone here who loved me unconditionally. It was a blessing to have one such as she in our family. And by the way, my Aunt Sarah Lee made better cakes and pies than the ones you find in the frozen food department at the grocery store. Although we miss those who are no longer here, we are never alone, even when we feel that way. Reality is, we're all members of the same spirit family. Remember, there is only one source, one consciousness, one race, the human race. All things and all people manifest from the one source. From the one came many, like the wildflowers in the field. All colors, shapes, sizes, and designs. We live and move together, having our being in a sea of God consciousness. There are many that perceive themselves as separate and apart. What we need to remember is that we are all connected. The Greeks have a saying, "We are all like fingers on the hand, each finger different, each important, all connected, each with its own purpose. When all the fingers on the hand work together, we can accomplish great things." It is written that those who do not remember the lessons of the past are doomed to repeat them. Life is about progression, not about repeating the same old habits that do not serve our highest good, habits that have held us back, the distractions that have separated us and blinded us to our true nature. We now have the awesome responsibility of forging ahead with what we have learned, the wisdom, the spiritual truths, sharing and caring, inspiring a new generation. We now know and understand that greater is the power that is within us than any challenge we face in this world. We remember all those beautiful souls we have crossed paths with on this journey. It is right and good to name the power of beautiful lives well lived. They too were strengthened by those who came before them. They too were drawn on by the vision of a better tomorrow. We now understand that neither time, circumstances, or conditions can break our spiritual connection. We know that our family and friends in spirit are enfolded in the love of God because they were an expression of that love. We will never forget those who taught by example, those who help us to grow with love, respect, honesty, and truth. They walk with us still. The lives they lived hold us steady and inspire us even now. All those we have loved and who have loved us are with us always in spirit and in truth. And so it is.
For additional lessons and meditation ideas, visit our website at www.meditatewnc.org. Thank you for joining us.